5 minutes, please. Danny Kruger.
Thank you very much indeed, Ms Harris. It's a pleasure to serve you, and my congratulations too to my friend, member for Stoke-on-Trent Central. I'm in a Stoke sandwich here today, which is very nice. Don't know where Kidsgrove and Torque is today. My regret also is we don't have our friend, the member for Sedgefield, with us today, who has sadly suffered a bereavement and is not with us. But I want to just put on record my appreciation for his leadership in this place for the campaign for a community wealth fund and the strong role that he has played with it. Also, tribute to Local Trust. I suspect some of whom are watching today, the brilliant organisation that has been promoting this proposal from outside Parliament. This is a cross-party proposal, really. I think we all recognise that, and I go along with much of what we've just heard from the Honourable Lady. I mean, I don't think it requires a Labour government for this to happen, nor would this only prosper under a Labour government. The whole point is that this is about getting the great mission of community development or levelling up or economic prosperity, whatever we want to call it, out of the political cycle and out of the hands of central government. And I think it's a tremendous measure in exactly that spirit. And my work outside politics was mostly in charities, and I found there that the essential article of the most effective aspect of the work that we do is not about the type of service that's delivered. It's not the what, it's the how and the who that do it. It's the quality of the service, the nature of the service that matters. And what is so crucial is giving people a sense of belonging and of agency. That's what we need. We don't, and I think my honourable friend, member for Stoke-on-Trent Central, just made a very good point about the importance, not just of treating people as passive recipients of services, but as active agents in their own life and in their own prosperity. So, and I think this proposal, the idea of a community wealth fund, absolutely speaks to that and would strengthen that across the country. And I echo the point that she made about how we saw in the pandemic people stepping up. And particularly through the mutual aid groups that were established, taking responsibility for their neighbours. I would just point out, I think it's not unfair to say, in a sense it was easy then. People were being paid to stay at home, so they could take part in their communities. The need was obvious. It was people who were isolating who needed to be delivered food and medicines. And the demand was a short-term one. It was only a few months at a time. Whereas now, before and subsequently, and increasingly subsequently, because of the effect of the pandemic and all the lockdowns, we have long-term, wicked, entrenched problems, and we have people who are very overstretched, and we don't have the capacity in our communities that we did during lockdowns. So we need to build our social infrastructure, and that was the key recommendation of the report that I wrote for the government in 2020. How do we build on the community spirit that the lockdown had brought forth? And the answer is quite simply we need to create the conditions in which people can be good neighbours, and that means creating social infrastructure. So we can do a lot with policy, and this isn't the moment for that discussion about how we reform public services and local government. But there is one big thing we can do, and I know the Minister has been harassed and harangued on this topic over many months by many of us, and he's taken it with great patience. He's not going to suddenly flip and say no to us at the end of this process, because we've lobbied very hard. But the big idea is that we establish a great new national endowment for our communities, the Community Wealth Fund, which would support those non-commercial or sub-commercial activities which are so essential to local growth. Parks and libraries, arts and sports centres, facilities for the elderly and for the young, and as my honourable friend says, social enterprises and community businesses. We need to develop the capacity of local places. And I will end with this other raised observation. It's not enough to provide the money. We need to also ensure that communities have the capacity to bid for it, to plan the services, and then to run those services themselves. So there's a capacity building aspect to this. I want to pay tribute to the people who are trying to develop Community First, which is a model based on Teach First, which gives people the opportunity straight out of university to become community organisers in an area of the UK and to develop their skills that way. I think creating more opportunities for community organising will be helpful. We need to build social capital, Madam Chair, and even if financial capital is all you care about, which I'm sure it's not, the evidence is that that social capital is what drives economic growth, not the other way around. And so we need to invest in the infrastructure of our communities, and this proposal will do that. Thank you.
Jim Shannon.
Madam Chair, a real pleasure to serve under your